Alrighty, for the sleeves, the top part of the sleeve is going to be the part where it curves in, right, like this, and then up. Where there's more of a curve, that's the top. You're going to do a gather stitch on the top and the bottom of the sleeve. The difference is the bottom is going to go all the way to the edge. The top is going to start kind of in that little groove, that little bend. Okay, to do a gather stitch, just set your sewing machine length as long as it will let you set it. Okay, to gather it, I have a sticker coming off. Set it as long as it will let you set it. You're gonna do just one long stitch, leaving extra thread on both sides. No back stitching at all. No back stitching. I'm gonna set this back before I forget. Okay. Then to gather, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Then to gather it, it doesn't matter which thread you pull to start. But if you start with the thread that's on this side of the fabric over here, then you also have to start with the thread that's on this side of the fabric over here. So if it's the top thread, you use top thread on top thread, or if it's the bottom, use bottom and bottom, so that it doesn't end up unraveling itself. And you're just going to get in there and pull gently, obviously, until it tightens it all up. Same with the bottom. If you have a super thick piece of fabric, you may want to do 2 gather stitches within like a 1/4 inch of seam allowance, so that you can be pulling both of them at the same time, both threads. So when I do my gather stitch, I literally do it just like right on the edge of the presser foot, and just like you can go super, super quick. I'm sorry, I don't know why this is super blurry today, but then okay, once you have the top and bottom gathered, you can remember the difference because the top, there was some space left in the fabric before we started gathering, but the bottom could gather the whole entire way. So you're gonna get the bottom of the sleeve attached to the sleeve band. That's this little rectangle with some interfacing here. So you're gonna match right side to right side of the fabric and pin it. I'm gonna show you. All right, so it should be pinned. The pretty side of the fabric is touching the pretty side, right side to right side. I'm so sorry. I don't know why this is so blurry. Anywho, and then it should match up. Just stretch out that gather stitch just enough to match exactly within that sleeve band. And leave that top one gathered. It's really important to, before you sew this on, to go back to your normal stitch length, and that you're not still on the gather stitch, because that will not hold well. And then this one is back to that 5/8 seam allowance. So get it matched up with 5/8, and then back stitch both ends, because this is one seam we do not want to come undone. All right, once the sleeve band is attached to that gather stitch, you're gonna press the fabric all down toward the interfacing, and then you're going to sew the sides of the sleeve together. I do not have a serger, so in order for the fabric not to unravel, I'm gonna do a French seam instead of a serger. This is one of the only places we're gonna have to do this. So it's one of the only times you're gonna pin the wrong side to the wrong side, or the ugly side to the ugly side first. So you should have what you want to be the outside of your sleeve showing. And then you're gonna sew on this line at just about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, or right up against the edge of that presser foot. So it's just gonna be right on here. And yes, backstitch. The only time you do not backstitch is if you want your